Hey guy, this is your boy Manny. Ever wanted to make a podcast but you never really knew how? Anchor is the key. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast to places such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. Also, you can make money from your podcast right away. You don't need no minimum listenership to start making money. Everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So go ahead and get started today. Download the Anchor app at the App Store or go to anchor.fm to get started. What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Talking Sports with Manny. And this is your host, Manny. Let's get it. So, guys, today I'm going to dive into my wide receiver ones. I really wanted to make this a top 25 wide receiver episode, but I figured that it was going to take too long. This was the toughest position for me to dissect and actually rank. So I know for a fact that you guys are not going to agree with my rankings, but you know what? We're going to go ahead and dive into this. At number 12, I have nobody other than Robert Woods. I believe that Robert Woods is going to be a wide receiver one this year. Last year, he finished wide receiver 14. The only knock on Robert Woods is that he does not get enough touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns last year, but he had 90 catches, 1,100 yards. So this year, I'm expecting a bigger performance, bigger numbers, especially with Brandon Cooks being gone. So I expect Robert Woods to really produce this year. Also, the Rams are known for losing. So Jared Goff loves to sling the ball at least 52 times a game. So if that trend stays, then it bodes well. Yeah, you got Tyler Higbee out there. Yes, you got Cooper Kupp out there, but Robert Woods is definitely going to carve out a lot of targets. He had 139 targets last year, so that number is only going to increase with Brandon Cooks gone. So Robert Woods at my number 12. At number 11, I have Allen Robinson. This guy right here, all he did last year was ball out. He put up monster numbers. And what was amazing about Allen Robinson was that he was doing this with Trubisky, who was not the greatest quarterback, who's not the most accurate quarterback, but he was able to produce a decent role with Trubisky. Last year, he had 98 catches for 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns. So he almost hit that 100-catch number, but he fell short just by 2 catches. So this season, a whole nother year being healthy and having that connection with Trubisky, he is definitely going to ball out. Allen Robinson did finish in the top 10 last year. I don't know I don't know how high he can go this year, but I expect him to definitely be a legit wide receiver one. And he's a guy that you can get in the middle rounds. When I say middle rounds, we're talking 3rd, maybe 4th round. And if you're lucky, 5th round, just based off of people going after running back. So Allen Robinson at number 11. At number 10, I have the other Rams receiver, Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp was a guy who balled out last season, but then towards the end of the season, he kind of fell off those last 4 to 5 weeks of the season. So Cooper Kupp, he had an amazing season last year. He had 94 catches for 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns. See, those 10 touchdowns is what separates him from Robert Woods. Robert Woods doesn't score, where in the other portion of it, Cooper Kupp does score. So having 10 touchdowns, being one of the top leaders in touchdowns this season, definitely boded well for Cooper Kupp. He ended up as a wide receiver 4 last year. He definitely could have been a wide receiver 2, possibly wide receiver Two. Yeah. Nobody was catching Michael Thomas last year. Just forget about that. But yeah, Cooper Kupp could have definitely finished at wide receiver 2. And he was wide receiver 2 for much of the season. You know, there were times when he was the wide receiver 1 for a little minute, but he just kind of slowed down. So this year, again, with Brandon Cooks gone, he is going to receive more targets. He had 134 targets last year, so I expect that number to go up. He's a guy that has the potential to catch 100 balls. I mean, he caught 94 last year. So Cooper Kupp at number 10. So, guys, coming in at number 9, we got Juju Smith-Schuster. This guy is a beast. I know he had an off year last year. I mean, he was playing with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph, okay? And he was not able to produce. Year 1 with AB, his rookie year, he had 58 catches, 900 yards, 7 touchdowns. Those are awesome numbers. Terry McLaurin put up these same type numbers this past season. In year 2 with AB, he had 111 catches, 1,400 yards, and 7 touchdowns. The thing about Juju is he can score from all over. He can catch a short pass and take it the distance. He can go deep. He can go intermediate. I mean, this guy can do it all. Now, just imagine a season where Big Ben comes back and he's healthy. Big Ben is pissed. You know what I'm saying? Big Ben wants to win. All these different factors, okay? Big Ben is going to make Juju look great. I know Pittsburgh has all these young receivers, DJ out there and Claypool out there and James Washington out there. Yeah. But Juju's going to be the bona fide number 1 receiver. I'm telling you, this season, Juju will get 100 catches, okay? He's going to get a ton of yards, and mark my words, he's going to get as close to 10 touchdowns as possible. The floor is 7 touchdowns. That's the floor. Now, the ceiling can be anywhere from 10 touchdowns or more. So, Juju Smith-Schuster as my number 9 wide receiver. Coming in at number 8, I have Mike Evans. Mike Evans is now going to be playing with Tom Brady. Yes, I'm buying the hype, okay? He put up numbers with Jameis Winston his whole career. Now he gets to play with Tom Brady, okay? Now, I know that Tom Brady has lost a step with throwing the deep ball, but Mike Evans is one of those guys who can do it all. I see Mike Evans' receptions going up this season. Mike Evans has a shot at double-digit touchdowns. See, one thing about Tom Brady is he knows how to score in the red zone. So I expect Mike Evans to be a target in the red zone. Look for Mike Evans to get you anywhere from 7 to 12 touchdowns this season. Yes, I said it. I know that Gronkowski's out there. I know that Chris Godwin is out there. I know they got weapons all over the field, but Mike Evans, how can you not have Mike Evans as a wide receiver 1? Now, I know Mike Evans might be lower on some of you guys' list, but if I'm you, you better buy Mike Evans. Now, coming in at number 7 is Kenny Golladay. This guy is going to be my breakout potential wide receiver. This guy might end up as a top 3 wide receiver this year, but I have him number 7 in my rankings. Okay. Last year, Kenny Golladay came in. He was a wide receiver 9 or wide receiver 10 in the final rankings last year. He was a guy that really surprised me. I didn't know he was going to ball out like this. And to be honest, I didn't even realize that he led the NFL in touchdowns. Granted, it's 11 touchdowns. One of the years that 11 leads the entire league, but 11 touchdowns is 11 touchdowns. And mind you, he played some of the games towards the end of the year without his quarterback and was still able to produce. Now, what's so impressive about this guy was he caught 65 catches for 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns. You would figure that he would have had more catches, but he was a guy that can beat you deep, man. He was like a deep target. And I expect him to get more intermediate and short routes this year. He had 116 targets last year. I look for that number to grow. Marvin Jones does not scare me. TJ Hawkinson does not scare me. Swift does not scare me. Kenny Golladay is going to be a guy eating up targets. And this guy right here, he is on the brink of stardom. He's in a contract year, and his numbers can be bananas this year. But one thing that I do know is that he's definitely a guy that you can count on to score touchdowns. He's definitely a guy that can outproduce guys like Amari Cooper, which he did last year. He's a guy that's going to outproduce guys like Edelman and Keenan Allen this year. And he even has a chance to outperform Cooper Kupp if he gets his catches up. So maybe this is a year that Kenny Golladay gets like 80, maybe 90 catches. That would be awesome. If Kenny Golladay gets 80, maybe 90 catches, he has a potential to be a top 3, top 4 wide receiver this year. So guys, at my number 6, I have Julio Jones. Julio Jones is an amazing talent. He's a guy where even in an off year, even when he's inconsistent and you look at the numbers at the end of the year, you're wowed, okay? Let's look at the last 5 years for Julio. 136 catches, 1,800 yards, 8 touchdowns. Next year, 83 catches, 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns. The next year, 88 catches, 1,400 yards, 3 touchdowns. The next year, 113 catches, 1,600 yards, 8 touchdowns. Then last year, 99 catches for 1,300 yards and 6 touchdowns. So every year he's giving you 1,400 yards or more. Last year he missed 1,400 yards by just 6 yards, and he missed 100 catches just by 1 catch. Julio Jones is like the safest wide receiver that you can draft, and he's always going in the bottom portion of the first round because, you got to get your bell cow running back. So if you can get a guy like Julio and then get another wide receiver or another top running back, I mean, it bodes well for you. So do not be afraid to grab Julio. I know his touchdown numbers are not what you want it to be, but guess what? Julio finished wide receiver 3 last season. That's amazing. Julio is Julio. Okay. So this season, I know that Calvin Ridley is coming up and everybody's saying, oh, Ridley is going to be the guy and Julio is getting up in age. Julio is a once in a lifetime type talent. Okay. I still believe he's going to produce 4 more years just like this. Okay. He's going to go down as one of the greatest wide receivers to ever do it. Okay. Now, coming in at number 5, I have Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin balled out last year. I will not say that he came out of nowhere. We saw signs of him coming. Even when Deshaun Jackson was there, Chris Godwin was just coming up. So last year, it just happened to be that Tampa Bay was not winning games. They were not very good. So it bodes well for an offense when the defense is not doing well. In fantasy, you want the wide receivers and quarterbacks that are throwing to catch up to get back in the game. So Chris Godwin had 121 targets. He caught 86 catches last year for 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. Those are amazing numbers. Now, this year, being that they have Tom Brady, a better defense, I don't know how the running game is going to be, but if the team is playing with the lead, are they passing the ball as much? So it's something to keep an eye on. But my money says that Chris Godwin has a potential to get more than 9 touchdowns. He had 9 last year. Evans had 8. And Tom Brady, like I said earlier, knows how to find people in the end zone. So Chris Godwin at number 5. At number 4, I have Davante Adams at number 4. I know that Green Bay is turning into a running team, but I still like Davante Adams, okay? All Davante Adams does is produce. I know last year he was hurt, so he wasn't in the top 12 or anything like that, but Davante Adams is a guy that can catch 100 balls. He's a guy that can get you 1,300 yards. He's a guy that can get you anywhere from 8 touchdowns to about 14, 15 touchdowns. Yes, I said up to 15 touchdowns because in a loaded draft, Green Bay did not get a wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers. What does that mean? That means that Aaron Rodgers is going to use what he has. And who does he trust the most? Davante Adams. Davante Adams is going to be a target monster. Do not be surprised if Davante Adams ends up as the wide receiver 1 overall. He can definitely do it. Because what did Michael Thomas do last year? He got a whole bunch of targets. So if you're getting targets, if you're getting anywhere between, 130 to 170, 180 targets, it bodes well. It bodes for a lot of catches, a lot of yards, and like I said, a lot of touchdowns. So, Davante Adams at number 4. So, guys, coming in at number 3, it's my guy, Tyreek Hill. Mr. Cheetah, man. This guy is so fast, so lightning, so quick. Why do I have Tyreek Hill at number 3? For the simple fact that he plays with Patrick Mahomes, the greatest offense that we've seen in a while. Patrick Mahomes is going to find his boy Tyreek Hill, okay? We're talking about over 120 targets, okay? We're talking about anywhere from 75 to 90 catches. Yes, he can get up to 90 catches, man. He's starting to run actual routes now, just not, go routes. But not only that, he can get you anywhere from 1,100 yards to 1,500 yards receiving. He can get you anywhere from 7 to about 14 touchdowns. Why? Because he's playing with Patrick Mahomes. I expect Tyreek Hill to have an amazing season. Then he's going to be healthy. Then you added a running back to this group. Who do you cover? With all these weapons that they have, who do you cover? They got nothing but speed. And I expect Tyreek Hill to put up wide receiver 3 numbers. I know it's crazy. I know you guys are like, Tyreek Hill? Yes, Tyreek Hill. The guy is special, okay? And if he gets the targets and if he runs more routes, man, I'm just thinking about the possibilities of the amount of catches that he can have. There was a crazy game that Tyreek Hill had this season where he was targeted like about maybe over 20 times and he caught like 17 or 18 catches. That's nuts. That's a sign of what's to come, okay? Now, coming in at number 2, I got DeAndre Hopkins. All DeAndre Hopkins does every year is produce. Every single year he produced. So last year he had 150 targets. Okay. He caught 104 catches for 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns. Those are amazing numbers. He came in at the wide receiver 5 last year. He's actually a guy that has the potential to get to wide receiver 1 status. Okay. I know that he has, changed teams. He's going to be playing with Kyler Murray. I think that Kyler Murray has a good season this year. He's going to target the mess out of DeAndre Hopkins. They brought him there for a reason. They're going to pay him for a reason. And he's going to be a big piece to what they have. They got a nice offense with Christian Kirk out there, Larry Fitzgerald running through the middle. You got Kenyon Drake out there. Expect for DeAndre Hopkins to have a great season. Okay. He's one of the safest picks you can make. Okay, the floor is 100 catches. The floor is 1,100 yards. The floor is 7 touchdowns. So expect DeAndre Hopkins to show the world that he's one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the game. Go and grab you DeAndre Hopkins. If you don't have DeAndre Hopkins, you might want to trade for him. You might want to trade back if you're playing in a startup dynasty, or if you're playing in a redraft. You might want to trade your pick. To get DeAndre Hopkins. I'm telling you, this guy right here is going to produce this year. The Cardinals are one of those teams that are going to produce offensively, and I don't think they're going to be good defensively. So what does that mean? They're playing catch up to get back into the game. Okay. I know they have an improved defense, but I still feel like that defense is going to give up a lot of points, which bodes well for Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Now, coming in at number 1, it's no surprise. It's nobody other than Michael Thomas. What did Michael Thomas do last season? He had 185 targets. He had 149 receptions for 1,700 yards and 9 touchdowns. Now, let me tell you guys what happened to me last year with Michael Thomas. I drafted Michael Thomas and Odell Beckham Jr. at the end of the first and the beginning of the second round. So I had like a back-to-back pick. So I chose Michael Thomas first, or OBJ first, and I came back with Michael Thomas. You know, those are where some good wide receivers go because people go grab the bell cow running back. So drafted Michael Thomas, and after like week 2, I traded him for a package that gave me Devontae Adams as well as another player. I can't remember who the other player was. One of the biggest mistakes that I made was trading away Michael Thomas and getting Devontae Adams. Not that Devontae Adams wasn't, a good piece to have. I actually wanted Devontae Adams over Michael Thomas in the draft, but Adams went before Thomas. But here's what happened. After I trade for Devontae Adams, he gets hurt. So then I have to wait. And what happened was I started losing. And then by the time that Devontae came back, he kind of helped me. So I got to the championship, and the guy that I played had Michael Thomas. So he got to beat me with the player that he gave me. So it was so annoying. It was my big money fantasy league, and he killed me with Michael Thomas. But had I kept Michael Thomas, I don't think I would have made it to the finals. So sometimes you make trades, you don't really know how it's going to go down. But yeah, Michael Thomas at number 1. I don't think he gets 149 catches this year. I don't think he gets 1,700 yards this year. But he is going to have over 100 catches. He's playing with Drew Brees. I know that Emmanuel Sanders is there, but I don't see Emmanuel Sanders taking away from what Michael Thomas does. So Michael Thomas is this year's wide receiver 1 on my rankings, and I'm thinking that he might not be the wide receiver 1 this year. I'm hoping that it's one of my other guys on my list. I'm hoping that it's either DeAndre Hopkins or Tyreek Hill, because I have those 2 guys on my dynasty team. But it's a wrap for this episode, man. So guys, let me know what you guys think. Be sure to let me have it. If you agree with me, cool. If you do not agree with me, let me have it. Let me know where I messed up. Let me know what you think. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun discussion, man. All right, y'all, I'm out. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in into another episode. I appreciate the love that you guys are giving me out there on all the social media platforms. Be sure to share this podcast with one other person. Please leave me a review on the Apple Podcasts or whatever platform that you do use. Subscribe, share, follow me on Twitter at TS with Manny, Instagram TS with Manny, on Facebook Talking Sports with Manny. Thank you guys so much. And if you guys have any comments, be sure to hashtag TSWM Talking Sports with Manny 2020. Thank you guys so much. Love y'all. Y'all be safe out there. There's a lot going on. Just please be safe out there. Love you guys.